Everyone was just taken aback by Blackrock and Fidelity. The XRP ETFs may arrive sooner rather than later as a result of this recent SEC change. Hi there, lovely individuals, moneymakers, shalom. We are going to discuss XRP, we'll discuss Bitcoin, and the cryptocurrency market. I only ask that you send me a lovely smile so that I can feel all the positive energy. Since Thursday likes are free, smishy, hit the like button. With this video, let's aim for 3,333 likes. I believe in you. You can accomplish it, I'm sure of it. As of right now, XRP is up 1.9% for the day at $3.15. The market has essentially recovered to its pre-sell-off level for XRP following the sell-off that occurred last night. Bitcoin is at a comparable level, am I correct, about the same level as before? By the way, the daily candle for Bitcoin ended inside the triangle once more. Two of the wicks have broken out, but the daily candle is still solidifying. What consolidation? Wow! It's simply really tight sideways movement for Bitcoin right now. And other coins are kind of going nuts. Someone with a large amount of Bitcoin in their portfolio isn't really experiencing the changes, isn't it? Bitcoin is staying firm, neither up nor down. As you can see, Ethereum has also recovered and is now again above the resistance support region around 3,859. In fact, Ethereum has made even greater progress in its recovery. After dipping, it is now at a greater level than it was yesterday. I accidentally pushed something here, and it seemed to erase everything, thus my entire list got messed up. As you can see, it's in alphabetical order after what I pulled up. But if you see me searching for an asset, I attempt to change it a little bit. In addition, I was adjusting the sound since I felt it was a tad too forceful. Tell me if it sounds good. Sometimes I need better sound. However, depending on where I am and how I'm recording, I might need to slightly improve my microphone. However, please let me know whether the sound is comfortable. If it feels good, write it down. Today's sound is great. If they don't wait until at least the 2-minute mark, they won't comprehend what's happening. We have information that will be released today. The initial jobless claim, the macro data at PC data at 8:38 a.m., and the Fed balance sheets data later in the day might all show additional volatility. The PCE is a measure of inflation that the Fed likes to use and bases a lot of its actions on. Of course, the unemployment rate is significant because the Fed chairman stated last night that the job market is strong. We have discussed this because a strong job market may be good for America, but it is also good for the Fed because people who have jobs have money that they can spend. It is more difficult for inflation to decline if they are spending. This is the reason the Fed is so perplexed, and we'll get to the evidence in a moment. Do you know that I can now display the data for the first time after more than 30 years? You do realize that two Fed members were sent out today. The vote was 9-2, and this is the first time in 20 or perhaps 30 years that more than one person has, wanted a rise or a cut while others haven't. Thus, this indicates that there is a growing gulf that the other Fed chairmen do not believe that Powell's actions are the right ones. And a little fraction is beginning to appear there. We'll see what transpires in September and August. Since there isn't a meeting in August, we will have to wait 2 months for the next one. And until the next FOMC meeting, this one will be the most significant. Until then, he might give up, I'm not sure. However, there will be fascinating movement for 2 months. By the way, this is the last day of July in the past. In the post-halving years, August has consistently been excellent. I'm going to give a large but, though I can't lie, but I prefer large buts. We don't know if this August will be fantastic, because, as you may recall, October 2024 was supposed to be fantastic, but it wasn't, but November was fantastic. That's what the 𝗙𝗶 has told us. Therefore, I don't want to overburden August. July has been fantastic. Well, perhaps August will be fantastic, let's see. Naturally, as I have no idea what the market will do on a daily basis, I will never advise you to buy, sell, or hold. I have no idea what Trump will say on a daily basis, not financial advice, of course. Always conduct your own research before making an investment. Very, very significant. Additionally, keep in mind that I will never message you on social media to ask you to send me money or join up for anything. They are con artists. Be extremely cautious out there. Please, please, please. Alright, don't click on any links, please. Don't open like I do. Lately, I've been really worried. You do realize that I wanted to download ADSER, considering that you sound like the S's, don't you? And I thought, I don't know, maybe this is a virus, so I was hesitant to open the file. I've been reading a lot of horror stories lately, and it's made me a little paranoid, so just exercise caution. Alright, we did, in fact, reach an agreement with South Korea yesterday night. The US struck a deal with South Korea. Thus, we are aware of how crucial South Korea is to XRP. We are aware that South Korea accounts for a large portion of the trading activity using XRP. You see, it's up, up, up. We'll see. Binance initially, followed by it. This is an exchange from South Korea. Therefore, South Korea is crucial to XRP, and they were successful in closing the deal. It's crucial and relieves a lot of stress, so perhaps South Koreans were thinking, wait a minute, maybe we need to be a little more careful with our money. We don't know when our economy would experience a turbulence and spiral wind due to excessive tariffs. What's the word? Ben Mo, I forgot. Tell me in the space provided for comments. What word am I trying to find? Well, that's good. However, we still have a small amount of Russia, India, and what's happening there? Well, there's always the geopolitical thing, as I've mentioned previously. The monkey has always been on my back. I am constantly cautious. I'm constantly aware that there's a chance the market could turn against us, and because we've seen that last week, it's likely to happen again. We witnessed the markets rolling, cascading sell-offs, and liquidations yesterday night. Just exercise extreme caution when you're out there, alright? We have some really important information that I'm not sure is being overlooked. However, this is a really significant development. We discussed the modification that they made. The SEC recently announced the in-kind redemptions, correct, we discussed that. However, the SEC released listing guidelines for cryptocurrency ETPs through a new exchange filing last night. In summary, any coin with 6 months of future monitoring on the Coinbase derivatives exchange would be accepted. There are perhaps a dozen common suspects. The same ones whose probability were at least 85%. The timing is still uncertain, though, as it is probably September or October for everyone. I believe Greg has an excellent thread with additional lawyer details below. You can read it here, right? You can list it, too, regarding the change and the rule. This is really fascinating, and although I dislike adding dates to things, there's a good chance that all of these will be listed. We are aware that there is a high likelihood that XRP will be on Coinbase derivatives in September or October. In any case, that was sort of the sector that folks were looking at for XRP clearance. They might also be looking at ETF XRP approval, but that might happen sooner. Furthermore, it's really exciting that the Ripple Swell 2025 is taking place. Perhaps I ought to leave, maybe, but I didn't plan. And you see the speakers, don't you? New York is the location. It makes sense, Brad Garlinghouse. An ASDAQ CEO and chair, fascinating. Sandy, the chief of innovation at Franklin Templeton, a major trillion-dollar corporation, is here, but we know that Ripple has previously collaborated with them. The president of Ripple is Monica Long. It makes sense. This is Carolyn Weinberg, the chief product and innovation officer for BNY. We are aware of Ripple's collaboration with BNY. Citibank of additionally.